All right. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this wonderful panel of IT experts to discuss the roles, responsibilities, skills, and everyday typical job routines and lives of IT specialists. What is special about our panel, specifically this time around for this Tech Week, is that we will be looking at their working environments before and after COVID-19, the pandemic. What negative as well as possibly positive changes have taken place in their working environment and their daily lives. And what survival tips and advice that they offer you, our future graduates from computer science who are looking to find a job in IT. So allow me first to welcome the panel. I'll start with Abdul Sadiq. Hello, Abdul, front-end developer. Renan Cavalcanti, power systems specialist. Razieh Halim. I will allow you, Razieh, to say that properly when the time comes to introduce yourself. iOS developer. Lyes, Hadj, Aissa, full stack developer, and Livia, Ferraz, SAP, BW functional analyst. Of course, I held back on mentioning where you are currently working because I want this to be something that you are going to share with the audience who are with us today. So how about we start with Livia for this first question. First question is, I would like the panelists to take the time each to share with us your profile. What do you do currently and how did you get here where you are today? Go ahead, Livia.
Hello, my name is Livia. Thank you, Miss, for inviting us to participate to this panel. It's an honor, honestly. So,
The honor is mine,
uh,
actually. It is my pleasure to have all of you.
to tell you a little bit about my profile, before studying computer science at LaSalle College, I had a business background. But after I graduated I had my business degree. I started to work a little bit with IT. And then I decided to go to Canada and study computer science at LaSalle College. After graduating, I found a job at ArcelorMittal. It's a mining company, working as an SAP BW functional analyst. It is another word to say BI analyst because SAP BW is the system that I work with, but I'm more like a BI analyst. I also work with other systems, but it's that I've been working at this company since graduation. So it's been 2 years. Well, I graduated in 2018, so it's almost
3 years.
3 years now.
Can you explain? I think actually what I would like you each to take the time when you're explaining your role is to say what does it mean, that job posting, when you say full stack or front end or BI analyst? What does that mean, so that students
Okay.
understand how to relate to that? And thank you for sharing that you also came from a business background, because many people choose IT either as a first career or it can come later in life, so they know that it is possible.
Of course. So what I do is basically, well, in a few words, it's basically I collect data from different systems or different company sectors like finance, like logistics, like HR, and I consolidate all of that in a data warehouse, where I make transformations of the data that I collect, and I make after that a report. We can say a report or a dashboard or something that will help either the managers or the people that work in the company to make their decisions, or to have access to data that they usually don't have. and it's important for them to do their job, to have access to it. So, for example, if we're talking about finance, I create uh, reports that help people to know if they are okay with their budget or if they spend too much, and I cross this data with other sectors of the company, for example, the sales, and I can say, well, with this budget we got this from sales. So I mix things like that.
Cross-functional,
Uh-huh.
across different, like you said, from different sectors.
Yes, I
Wonderful, thank
create
you.
the links and I make the data more
Relevant,
easy to understand.
yes. And if I can quickly just comment on what you just said, the day you graduated from computer science, did you know this is what you're going to be doing? Would you been able to explain it like you just explained it to us now with this
No,
confidence and detail? See, wonderful.
no,
So,
not at all, not at
yeah,
all. I
yeah.
had no idea I was going to do that. I had a little bit of experience doing that, but I
Mhm.
had no idea I was going to work with that and I was going to specialize in that. I had no idea.
But here you are today.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Livia. Abdul,
Oh, there you go. I'm unmuted. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much, Miss, for having me here.
it's my pleasure.
Like Livia said, the pleasure and honor is definitely ours. It's nice to see so many familiar faces again. Most of you have seen just through Instagram, and so and Livia again. Congratulations on the baby. I can't stop double tapping every time I see a picture of hers. So congratulations on the beautiful family.
Thank you, Abdul. It's nice to see you again.
Very true.
Uh, a little bit about myself. I was raised in Western Canada in Alberta. I Life just brought me out here to eat in the east. Beautiful city of Montreal. I visited here once, and I just never wanted to leave. And I started computer science at LaSalle College. Met some great people. Got to, you know, I always knew I had an interest in computers and particularly programming, but it wasn't until in my late 20s that I really found the drive to really go and get what I want and become a programmer. So my that journey started at LaSalle College. And upon graduating, as we all know, the world of IT is just a gigantic umbrella. There's so many places that you can go with it. Um, you can be like Livia as a BI specialist, a front end developer, as I ended up becoming full stack. There's also the entire networking side of everything too. Um, Me personally, I gravitated towards web development, and that's basically what front end development is. Basically, anything that you see on the internet on the client side as you interact with websites and interact with data on there and everything. That's all a front end developer's job to display that to the client. Um, and that's something that I fell in love with. I as soon as I learned JavaScript and started researching some of the JavaScript libraries and frameworks on the side and everything, I knew that's what I wanted to be. So right now I'm still in Montreal and I work for a company named Explorance, and I'm in a very talented front end team over there, and just trying to keep my boots on with them. That's my
Thank you.
profile.
Thank you for sharing that, Abdul. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that you, as well as Livia, have shared some of the technologies that you work with, and maybe later on we can elaborate on some of the technologies that we can recommend to our students if they decide to pursue a career such as yours.
Absolutely.
Renan,
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Miss, for the invitation. For me, it's a pleasure to be here between a lot of experienced people. And so, yes, my name is Renan. I was a LaSalle student from 2018 to 2020, but my background is electrical engineering. So I worked about 5 years with as an electrical engineer, and I decided to come to Canada to study computer science. because since my university, I loved software development. We play a little bit with some math tools that we need to code to solve some problems. So for me, it was nice to discover, to figure out that we can solve a lot of problems with programming. And for me, it was amazing. That's why I decided to change a little bit my area. And when I came to Canada and I finished LaSalle college course, I got hired for a company in US as LogMeIn, where I worked as a full stack mobile developer. I was working more with React Native, the front end, for the cross-platform mobile for iOS and Android. In my back end, I was working with Java. And this was a very good experience because this application is used around the world. So they have more than 1 million users. It's so nice. I was implementing new features for this application. I worked there about 8 months. And so I left engineering, but they kept me back. So I got an offer for a Canadian company that's called OPAL-RT. They work with a lot of simulators, real-time simulators. But I got hired to be a power system specialist to work with their power system simulation. So now I'm a backend developer of Python, using Python. And yeah, I'm working basically in a functionality that can convert other software's output to our simulator. So we can get a lot of schema, and all the conversions is being done by Python. And it's a nice experience again, because I could join my 2 fields. So now I'm working with power system and software development, and it's very amazing for me.
That is amazing. And again, I'm really impressed to hear you guys talk about the systems you're dealing with and the technologies that you're using, and to see that level of confidence that we always promise our students, just be patient, you'll get there. So I really appreciate hearing that from all of you. Razieh? Thank you, Renan.
Thank you.
Hello. First
Hello.
of all, thanks. Hello. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really happy that I'm here in this panel, and I see the faces that it's a long time I didn't see them. I'm graduated in software engineering, and I got my master in business administration. In 2013 that I came to Canada, I decided to be integrated more with the market. So I came to college LaSalle. I love this college really. And since I think in 2014, I was a student in college LaSalle. And as I study computer science as an AEC. As soon as I finished, I got hired as a backend developer. And at that time, I worked there. Then I had a lot of experience since then. And then I had a chance that I teach in college LaSalle. It was, I mean, I love that short of my life. It was really good for me. And then I decided recently to change again a little my field, and now I am working as an iOS developer.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear. So working as an iOS developer as well, maybe you can let us know, what does that mean?
Yes, sure. The application that for sure is working with iPhone. If you write a program that is working for iPhone, we said iOS developer maybe, or for it works with Mac now I'm working on a insurance company that their application is used more for if you have home, or I mean, you insurance your home or your car. Then if you want to claim something, you can go ahead and use that application to claim something if you need.
Yeah, so
but
I think, yes, so developer in the sense that you develop for the iOS platform.
yes.
And what I meant is actually to find out more about the technologies that you would be using.
Yes.
Objective-C, Swift, which
mhm.
both, what type of technologies?
Yeah, the technology that I use is Swift. Now, some companies still use Objective-C, but they are, I can say, yeah, it's not very
too complicated.
Yeah, but Swift UI is also used, but not many companies use that because it's not not all the iPhone is supported Swift UI. So the most company still use Swift, but some of them, they want to immigrate to another Swift UI, but step by step, not very soon.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that,
Thank
Razieh.
you.
And Lyes, we come to you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Miss, for having me here today. I'm so happy to see you, everyone here. So I'm Lyes. I'm graduated from LaSalle College in 2019. And I started working for Premier Tech as full stack developer. I'm working in smart manufacturing. So we actually monitor the production, and we actually grab data from collector PLC, and we contextualize the data and visualize them. So they have the company have all they know everything happening on the land, on the plant, and in the production line. So that's what we do actually. And I'm working with, I'm actually full stack, so I'm doing front end as well as back end. Actually, I'm more a back end guy, but we do a little bit of front end. I do sometimes. So yeah, so that's for the technology we use C#, a lot of SQL. We use also Docker. We have some services in Docker, and yes, so we use a little too many technologies, but these are the most technologies we use in my job.
By the way, Lyes, if at any point you feel more comfortable using certain expressions or terms in French, feel free to do that. I'm very happy that you are doing this with us in English, but I know for you, French is more your first language to use to express yourself. But
yes.
you're doing a great job, and I'm so happy that you are with us and you are sharing your experiences with us. So maybe I can start with you, Lyes, to talk about how did the pandemic affect your work habits? We know your working environment most probably had changed. You switched to work remotely, but just let us know how did it affect your responsibilities, your work habits, maybe certain technologies that now also you guys needed to adapt to work with. I'd like to hear from each one of you on that as well. Thank you. Go ahead, Lyes.
Honestly, from when I started my job, it was remote.
So okay.
Yeah.
So big advantage.
Yeah. The internship was remotely, so everything was I am doing from my home. I started working from home since the beginning. So the pandemic actually didn't change a lot of things in that purpose. I don't go to the office. I'm used to work from home, and I'm seeing it actually as for me I'm seeing as an advantage. you know, sometimes you don't have to go to the office every day, each day, and spend some like time in traffic on the road. So you will get a little bit more time. So for me, it's a good advantage. Sometimes it needs to be like for meetings purpose or to talk with the team. It's good, but well, for me, if I choose between like working from home or at the office, I choose working from home.
You know, you're not the only one. I have to jump in here and say that even a lot, there is a good amount of students that are actually saying they preferred when classes were online because of this new discovered gift of extra time that they're not spent commuting, the stress of getting there, going back. And it makes me wonder how students who were before the pandemic were complaining, let's say, about that time management is one of the toughest skills you guys needed to deal with in your lives. And now they say to me, I don't have time to cook. I have to start cooking when I get home. I don't have time to do my homework. You know, before I had this time between classes. And then I go, but that's how life was before. And now what changed? We're just going back to before, but it's that we discovered we were given that extra time, and now that we have it, we're having a hard time, I guess, letting go of it. Lyes, I want to ask you here specifically because of what you mentioned. So you were used to working remotely. Do you collaborate with others on writing code remotely, or do you work on your own tasks separated from others?
Oh, I actually work separately. Most of the time, I work alone in my side with the code. Actually, that's one of the advantages that you're more efficient when you're working from home. Like
Okay.
you don't have some others disturbing you. There is no like sounds or because I worked like for 2 weeks when I went to the go live when we start implementing our solution in one of the clients, and when you're here there, there is a lot of distraction.
Distractions.
Yeah, a lot of distraction. So I found it more efficient to work from home actually. So that's why I like to work from home. It's one of the reason. So yes.
Okay, you just need to maybe make sure you have a routine to follow of healthy
Exactly.
habits as well, since you are isolated most of the time working from home. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Lyes. What about you, Abdul?
You know, for me, the thing is that like the pandemic, I'm actually very jealous of Lyes saying that he started off working from home, so really it didn't affect him too much. I'm sure there's effects, but in
Yes.
terms of his everyday work life, at least he was still working at home and such. For me, and I'm sure for several others too, I graduated and had a 9 to 5 job at the office, and it was a normal thing. Every day I would get up and I would commute to work. I'd commute back. You know, there'd be a little bit extra exhaustion that would come from it. Maybe you know, anything. There's also a lot more money I realize that you spend when you're outside of the house, when you're buying lunches and snacks and coffees and such. Um, but you know, when the pandemic hit, I was in the situation where I had just started a brand new job. I had my first day at the new job was on March 1st, 2020, and then 2 weeks after that, there were orders given to start working from home, and unfortunately, a week after we started from working from home, I was laid off. And this is I was part of I was part of the record number of Canadians that were laid off in
Yes,
suddenly.
unfortunately. Yeah.
So I mean, it was very, very tough, but at least I knew that there were many, many other people that were going through this as well. Somehow that gave me some kind of confidence that it'll be okay. And 3 weeks after that, I spent 3 weeks without a job and just fearing sitting at home if I'll ever have a job again. I was watching the world shut down around you. It's like we all saw and experienced. It was a very, very scary time. lots of questions. What's going on? How long are we going to be, away from everybody? It's very scary. But thankfully, 3 weeks after that, the government started giving those little grants and little money to smaller businesses to start coming back on and, hiring people back. And my company was able to hire me again, and we started working from home and all that. So there were lots of speed bumps along the way, and that I kind of had to get used to. I was never used to working from home at all. You have sick days, I guess, then you stay at home and do some work, but that's not your regular job. And what I found very, very difficult was waking up and realizing that I'm going to eat, sleep, watch TV, even work out and play games and work in the same set of walls. There is
Very
no
true.
variation in our lives. So that played a really weird mental toll on me. I really had to work hard to try to separate my tasks in the day, make myself feel like I'm doing something new. So it wasn't the same monotonous thing every single day. But we're here. I'm happy. I've definitely learned how to work from home. Um, it wasn't easy for me. Lyes said that we're more efficient working from home. I think for me, I had to really work on that, and it wasn't until maybe 2 months into working from home that I finally started to relax. I started to understand that, hey, even if this is a temporary thing of working from home, I'm gonna start treating it like it's a permanent thing, so that I can start being comfortable where I am. I properly set up my desk, my work table at home, where I don't do anything else but work. It's like a designated thing. It's well lit. I have my morning routine now, all these kind of things. So there were steps that I had to take to make sure that I stayed sane and efficient. And
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
that I'm glad that I did that, though. It definitely helped build my character for sure, and I feel like I can take on more challenges as they come in the future.
That's true. And it's important to mention here too that there's a difference between working from home when it's a choice versus working from home under those circumstances. It's a completely different ball game because of all the insecurities, the questions. It was, like you mentioned, Abdul, very scary at the beginning when there were no answers. We didn't know how long, etc. But I think that it taught us all about ourselves more. It taught us, we evolved, hopefully. We adapted to new skills. Were there new technologies you had to, other than setting up your working environment, your desk and desktop, were there new technologies now that you're working remotely you had to work with, to collaborate with others? Are you working autonomously?
Well, the thing is, that particular job that I had started on, it was a very small company, and I was and I was going to be the designated front end developer. I wasn't working on in a team of front end developers. There was a team of back end ones, but they needed a designated front end developer to work. So I was really my own team.
Okay.
However, there was a lot of collaborations and stuff, and I ended up using technologies I've never used before: Zoom, Teams we've used in offices and stuff, but not in terms of like video conferencing and
Meetings.
meeting and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
my most difficult challenge, I think, was the new job made me an Angular developer, and that's something. My first job, I was just working with vanilla JavaScript, basic. But then becoming an Angular developer, it's just a whole nother machine. It's a whole nother beast. So I had to learn that um, on my own at home while I worked. I feel like if I was in a work setting, it would have been easier for me to learn. Possibly, I would have had people around me to reach out and help really quick. It's a
Exactly.
little bit more difficult to communicate with people, especially in work settings, remotely.
Remotely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you just got to keep your head down and just focus and pray for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, it's true. I think this is, you mentioned the point that this is the number one issue that a lot of the people, let's say, who do enjoy working remotely mention, is even for us as educators, there was a difference between a teacher bumping into a teacher in the hallway, or a student bumping into a teacher in the hallway, in the corridor, in the teacher's room, a meeting room, and say, oh, what about this? What about that? And it gets resolved right away, instantly, versus now there is this next level. You feel like, oh, I have to have a meeting with them. And especially if somebody's new, like you mentioned, you started your work in a company for just a few weeks. I'm sure that was the toughest on people who had just switched jobs and then found themselves in this position where, who do I go to? Who do I ask when I'm isolated at home and I don't have enough contact? So
That's right.
absolutely, yes, these are very valuable points. But I'm glad you mentioned that it takes also from us, we have mentally to think about these things and put a routine for ourselves, put a tasks. We say, I need to do this, even if slowly, but we need to get things done so we can survive in a healthy manner. Renan, I noticed while Abdul was talking, you were nodding a lot. Do you want to comment on that and share with us your story?
No, yeah, like I agreed with a lot of things that Abdul said. Mainly the fact that we work, we wake up, we eat, we do everything at the same place. When the pandemic arrived, for me, it was I would say a transition period, because my daughter was born, I was graduating, and everything happened at the same time. I lived in a small apartment because it was only me and my wife, and in 1 week we had like one daughter, one job at home, and everything was messed. And for me, it took a lot of time to understand that was my job that was invading home, and not home that was invading my job.
Yes, very
So
true.
it took me like almost 1 year, and it was very hard because in my brain, I was working 24 hours because I was not at home anymore. I was at my job, and this is very hard because for you, you work like 24 hours. When you have one idea, say, okay, but the computer's there. Okay, let me try it. Let me try it. And you do this every day. And so I lost a lot of time with my daughter, for example. And this is it's a bad point about the pandemic, but yeah, it took me time, but now it's better. So I need to divide and say, okay, at this period, I need to stay with my family, and that's it. Like, it's not a job anymore. It's not about job anymore. It's about family, and I need to stay with my family, and that's it. So I cannot touch, I cannot think about job. But now it's a little bit better because I'm working hybrid, and I go 1 day to the office, and this is very good also because another problem about the pandemic and work from home, it's when you start a new job. Even you are very good with a technology, or you are a very good developer, each company has its way to work with this technology. So you need to learn anyways. Even you're very experienced, you need to learn how they work, how they use, which framework they use. And
Always.
at this
Always.
period, at this beginning, it's very important to have people close to you because it helps you to grow up, to increase your knowledge faster. And for me, it was very hard to was a little bit tough to do it by myself because it took longer. But now, because my work is hybrid, when I started at this company, it was already hybrid. So my integration was a little bit easier because I had people close to me and I could ask questions. Because in your sense of work, if you ask something for someone and they don't answer you at the same time, you blame yourself because of this delay. But it's not you. It's it's the environment. It's like this now. So you cannot say, okay, I wait for 1 hour, so I need to postpone 1 hour my work. I need to work 1 hour more because I was waiting for this information. But it's not your fault. It's how it works now. And so it took me like 1 year to understand it, and now, as Abdul said, so I really learned how to work at home, and it's I think it's a good benefit also because you save time. You save some time and money also, Abdul. I agree because when you're outside home, you need to buy food.
I saved so much on parking.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
God.
so, yeah, and it's good because, yeah, we figured out that we can save money, we can save time. 30 minutes that you don't need to take a metro. It's to go work and go back home. It's 1 hour. So 1 hour, it's a time for you. It's a time to go to the gym, to take care about your healthy. It's time to learn a new technology. And so this is the benefit of to work from home. But I also think that we need to interact with people. So for me, it's I would say I really love to work in a hybrid environment. So 1-2 days at the office, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I also want to just quickly go back to something you said that is very true, is to find that balance was quite difficult because we all said the same thing. We found that we were working a lot more. I was checking my emails all the time and answering regardless of what time, because work became home. And there was a lot of people, even I had to suffer from that, where you feel you always have to hush people around you because you're in a meeting. And for us as educators, we're always in meetings. Either we're in a meeting for the purpose of meeting with others, or in a meeting because of lecturing, because of our classes. So you constantly needed an environment that is quiet. And that was really hard. And I'll share quickly with you a very funny story that I still till today feel that was for me the epic of how bad it is. Once I had not a fire, but something in the oven really almost completely set our kitchen on fire. There was smoke everywhere. And I had my door closed to the office, and then as soon as my family walked into the kitchen, and the kitchen was all smoke, and they opened the door to my office, and the smoke came in, and they're like, "We need to leave right now." And I'm like, "No, my students are in breakout rooms. I need to tell them that the class is over." And like, "Are you kidding? We need to leave now." And that sense of responsibility of how can I just stop the classroom? My students are going to think isn't it enough that we are online? Like, I felt guilty. Isn't it enough we're online? Isn't it enough that, I'm not there with them, and now I just disappear because there's smoke in my house? It's the logical thing to do, but it took me a while. They basically had to drag me and say, "Stop sending messages to the breakout rooms, just let's go." So that was crazy. I just really wanted to tell you, don't feel bad. It got to that point with me, that sense of guilt and responsibility. So Razieh, what about you? Thank you, Renan.
My pleasure.
Yeah, at that time, I remember that when pandemic started, I was teaching in college LaSalle, and it was hard, honestly, for me, because I had a son. At that time, he was just 1.5 years old, and all the daycare was closed. It was really just like a shock for me. How can I do that? Because when you are work as a developer, okay, you can do maybe your task a little later at night, or you can manage it by yourself. But when you teach, as a lecturer, so you should be online for a certain time. So it was hard for me, honestly. But at that time, we thought that, okay, this is our new life. We should find a way to manage this. And then we found, by my husband, we found some way that we manage at that time, and we go through this stage. The other issue that I see is that the pandemic, I think, for sure, it has some disadvantage, but it has some advantage also. I think I see everything that happens as not absolutely positive or negative. In some point, it has some positive things for us.
Advantages and disadvantages.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, it's the healthy
example,
way of looking at any experience that way.
Exactly. Yeah. I see, for example, as Abdul or Renan said, we save our time, but in other hand, we maybe work more at home. I mean, we save our time, we can have more time maybe with our family, but in other hand, we work, and for me it was like that. I work most of the night because as you said, just answering the emails or a lot of things that I thought, okay, it's like my home, it becomes my office. So I think I should just work more and more. But
Yes.
time, when time is passed, then I found a way to balance this. And now it's okay. I mean, I can balance my life and my work.
Were there technologies you needed to use to work remotely? Does your work and others' work like mix together?
Yeah.
Commit together, or no, you really work separately from others?
Not really. It depends. Now, when I am working as an iOS developer, in some story that we have, we work together. We have pair programming, but in some task or some stories, no, we work alone. But most of the time,
how do you pair program remotely? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah. We do, for example, we manage that with Git. When in some parts we do it by ourselves, and in some other part of the subtask. I mean, if we have a story, we can divide it to many subtasks.
Tasks,
and and each task can be a programmer can do that. And then in some time, we need to manage the whole things. Then if I want to give an example, for example, maybe it's much more understandable for the students, is like that. One person is just get all the data that is needed from the API, and the other person is doing the UI, and then and the other person just should do the logic, should create the logic. So all of this, just the API, the person that is working from the API do his job. The person that the job is creating the UI do his job, and the person that is should create the logic and do his job with the mock data. We can just mock data. I mean, you can just put some variable and you can do that. And in sometimes that all these three do their job, we just have a meeting, we share our screen, and we do some pair programming. If even some maybe in a team, maybe a person need more help, so we can do.
Yeah, that's great. It's good. I understand. I think it's great to see how pair programming can be actually implemented online like that. It's good. Okay, thank you, Razieh. Livia, how about you?
For me, I could actually relate a lot to what Abdul said, especially in the beginning, because when the pandemic hit, we were working 5 days a week at the office. We never even thought about the possibility of working from home from long periods of time. And then from one day to the other, we received a memo from the company saying, from tomorrow, you all work from home. And then some people celebrated a lot. Some people were a bit, I don't know if this is going to work or not. But then we are also very lucky, because at least the IT sector had already all the connections. So we all had VPNs, we all had access to remote
Very true.
access, and we're able to do our work from a distance even before the pandemic. So when they said you have to work from home, it was very easy. It was only take the laptop, bring home, and we're all already set up. Uh, but the same as Abdul, in March, we also received bad news, which was we were all laid off. Almost everybody from the IT department were laid off because,
Mhm.
especially because since the production had stopped, they didn't have any more money to pay the employees and anything. So they said, we have to lay you all off. But at the same time, they said that, and they gave us a little bit of comfort saying that we are going to work hard to bring you back as fast as we can because we need you. So try not to worry too much because we are going to bring you back. But even when they say that, you worry.
Yes, of
You
course.
start to stay at home and you start thinking, should I apply to other jobs or should I wait? I don't know how long this is going to take. So for me, when I started applying to other jobs, they called me back, and it was 1 month. 1 month I was home, so I updated my CV. I started to send CVs actually. I even got one call for an interview, and then they called me back. So I said, oh, okay, I'm going back. And then I continued working home, and then it's still from home in the company that I work. There is no hybrid methods yet. We're all from home. And
Is that then gonna be, Livia, the new way, or it's still the temporary way? Have they discovered, I don't know if that goes for any of you. I know Lyes said that he works already remotely, but have some of you, your employer said, oh, we discovered this way, it's cutting our costs and so forth. So maybe we should continue to work that way. Livia, is this the plan or that's still
well,
temporary?
I believe for the moment it's temporary because they have not set they have not made official yet the work from home method. I actually believe that they want us to go back to the office, even if it's hybrid, like 2 3 days a week. Because there is also a lot of people complaining that they want to go back to the office because they don't have a nice setup at home.
Yes, very
Sometimes
true.
people have kids, kids make noise and everything, and they cannot work properly at home. So there's this group of people that want to go back to work. In my case, I like working from home. So so I feel lucky that way. Uh, I know the pandemic affected all of us, but for me, I discovered that I'm actually more productive working from home. Even if I don't work long hours, I kept working the same hours. I tried to manage myself to not stay longer, not not work less either. I was like trying really hard to manage my hours, and and I felt like I got more things done because when I was at the office, people arrived at my desk asking things all the
Yes,
time
true.
also, and this like breaks my thought, breaks my analysis. I spend a lot of time working alone. I work alone. Like Abdul, I'm the only one in my team. I'm the team of one in the company that I work. So I don't have the need to communicate to a lot of people while I'm working. And the fact that I didn't have people coming to my desk all day long asking things,
Kept you focused.
it made me more focused. I could start and finish an analysis without people interfering. So, and even when people were talking to me at the chat, at Teams, I didn't really need to reply at the same moment. I I could finish my thought, at least I could finish what I was doing before replying.
That's true.
So this helped me. This helped
That's
me a
very true.
lot. And I really hope we can continue working from home because for me, it works very well. Uh, I know that a lot of people struggle, but I guess I was lucky that I liked to work from home. And
I
for me,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. No,
no,
continue,
go
Livia.
ahead. It's because it's better. Well, for me, it's better.
Mhm.
I get the space that I need. I get a silent room for me to focus, and also it's easy access. So if I have to stop to eat, I get there very quickly, and I can go back to work maybe faster than at the office because sometimes we went out to eat. And then if I go back faster from my lunch, I can go back home earlier in the day.
Yes,
So that's
very
good.
true.
That's good.
Very true. I think that there's a lot of people with different personality types, depending on if somebody's very social and they thrive around others. It affected them very negatively because they needed that constant human interaction. If someone has a good grip of managing their own tasks, their own space, and the way they're set up allows them to do that, they saw it as a great benefit. It's a great experience. And again, I'll give you the floor, Abdul, to comment. I just want to say that if it happened in other circumstances where, let's say, for someone like Razieh, her son still managed to go to daycare. Renan, where he had enough space to have his own setup, or we were ready, like we all had our own space already set up. We were prepared without other things being disrupted. It's a great opportunity to have that. And if we say maybe not completely online, a hybrid mode where we get to see our colleagues interact with others socially a few days a week remotely, because I do agree with you, Livia. I found I was a lot more efficient as well. I still have to say there was a lot of always messages coming now from everywhere. You have messages through the platform that is for the students. You have messages through the platform from employees, colleagues. You have messages coming from the platform that's used for meetings. You have on your phone, on your desktop, by phone. It was just very hard to manage the amount of communication that normally we didn't have to deal with, but of course we adapted. But here we're talking just about the things that we had to deal with and adapt to. Go ahead, Abdul.
One thing that we're discussing how our work life changed, but there's a big part of our everyday life that occurred in the past, well, since the pandemic started, and it's the whole idea that everything in the news, everything around us was all very negative. For once, it felt like every individual person in living in this world had to take control of their own sanity. They had to find their own way of staying happy,
Very true.
and to stay motivated and to stay driven. Um, it's not easy to feel like your career is just starting to take a start, and then this happens that's affected everybody. So meaning that you really have no control. No matter how much you try, I could not have gotten out of the pandemic just out of my own will. This is out of my control. So I had to learn how to find happiness, find peace, and find comfort when times were very, very difficult. And your mind plays tricks with you, because when the only thing you see outside is negativity, and people, this pandemic was not just making people sick, it was making people, like, a lot of people have passed away from this. This is a very, very heavy topic that seems like everybody from around the world shares in this grief of, or this struggle to get back to normality. So I find that that played a big factor for me in my work life too. If you remember, Miss, I was a social butterfly. I used to social interactions and talking to people, having fun, laughing, seeing people. That used to fuel my everyday. But I think in the past year and a half of working for, or more, I guess, year and a half, working from home and being somewhat isolated, there is a little bit of social anxiety that I ended up festering in myself. And it's very, very weird because all my life I've been very comfortable socially. And then now to see this anxiety build up in me, it's very new. So there are new struggles that have come with this that are not even work related. It's just inner thoughts and your mental self. And I think that that's something very important. Not only do we have to make sure we keep our everyday schedules intact, but we also have to keep our own mind intact. And that's the only way we're going to be driven to make changes in our lives and keep being successful in what we do. So I just wanted to throw that out there that I'm very sociable normally, but even I've had to make a lot of emotional, mental adjustments, you know.
Very well said. And actually, I know you, Abdul, and even Renan. Because I know all of you, and if I compare, I know how much the two of you are very very sociable. So this is why I was interested in hearing the feedback from you about that, how you dealt with it. And what you said is absolutely true. I think that even though we are hoping that we are stepping away from this and that the days that are coming are better days, that doesn't mean that we can just, it's not a push of a button where we say it's done, that part is over, now we just move forward, because it's changed everybody. It's that one moment in time where everyone around the world equally, regardless of who they are, what role they played, what age group they're in, are affected by the exact same challenges. So it's very important for us to share that, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Hopefully always better things, but I think we need to always look with a realistic microscope and to say, what do we want to learn from this, so that in the future, whether you guys as of course, all of us as human beings, for first and foremost, second as employees, and then as we interact with each other as a community and as a society, we need to pay attention to those lessons learned and how do we want to move forward. And that's why I wanted us to talk about it, not to bring back a negative impact and remind us of what had happened, but more to see now it's better to smile or to even feel a cringe in our hearts looking back at that past year and a half. But there are always lessons learned. And I think this is what we want to focus on, is those lessons learned that we want to share with others that could help them in the future to deal with this. And even us, it doesn't mean we're out of the hot, muddy waters. We're still all, like you said, Abdul, dealing with the aftermath. We discovered maybe stuff about ourselves we didn't know that we want to work on, and so forth. I think while you guys were talking about the pandemic and how it affected your work habits and responsibilities, you mentioned already the skills you probably had to adapt to. You talked about the positive and negative impact of it. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that conversation before we move on to something else? It's good?
No, not my side.
Okay, so you all agree, in a sense. I do agree that you said, Livia, that for us working in IT, we were at the most advantage in the sense that we also already are perceived to know how to deal with technology and learn technology faster than others. But we also lost a lot of people because many IT projects were not seen as priority. So that's why there was a big halt to projects and to employment. And it also changed perspective of the priorities of certain projects and the way to build those projects. So having said that, did the IT industry recover in your point of view? Like, are your companies hiring? Does it look like there are more opportunities out there? Yes, yes.
Yes. Oh, Livia, you want to talk?
Yeah. I just want to say that I do believe the industry is recovering. I start to see a lot more jobs offering on LinkedIn, something that I didn't have last year, for example. I also talked to my colleagues, and they're also very optimistic, saying that we do believe that the industry is recovering. From the company that I work, everything is already back to normal. We can say, well, we're not physically at the office, but everything is already back to normal. We can say the dynamic is the same that we had before the pandemic. And from now, we don't know yet if we're going back to the office or going to stay at home, but at least in our context, this doesn't change much. We're able to do exactly the same things at home than we do at the office. And at least for me, for the people that I work with, we're all feeling very good, very optimistic.
Thank you for sharing that, Livia. I'll go to Lyes and then Renan.
Yes, for my side, I'm seeing it like it's very optimistic, and there is a lot of opportunities out there. I think the pandemic changed the way businesses work. Like they're trying to go to implement solution to make their life easier. I mean, a lot of businesses are now figuring out that with the pandemic they have to move. They have to use new technologies, develop new stuffs to be in how we said that, like to be
more competitive.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind, Lyes, what kind of technologies or projects we're talking about?
Like at the moment, there is like the topic of blockchain. That's really interesting. And a lot of businesses are going out there. So this is one of, I'm seeing it like a very fantastic area. So I'm trying to discover a lot about it.
We have during Tech Week, if you have time, come. We have a conference on cryptocurrency and
blockchain.
So yes.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So this is the new topic is coming. Well, it's not new, but more companies are getting involved in it, and there is a lot. I'm saying some projects are getting. There is a new projects. There is a lot of demand for developers. So it's a very fantastic. There is a lot of great opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Renan.
Yeah, I think that the pandemic, in like related with the IT side, even we have some examples, as Abdul and Livia said before, that some companies they kind of cut down the costs a little bit, but I think the pandemic removed or pushed away the companies from their comfort zone, and they had a lot of projects. Okay, but we can do this in the future. For now, it's good. We have like everything working fine. I can give an example in my company. All the simulators, they are related to the hardware also, so we sell them together. And at some point, for example, we work with a lot of universities because our simulators, they help students, research students, for example, to work with their research. And but you need to be presential to use the simulator because of the hardware. And it's something that now we start to develop. That's the simulator in cloud, because it's for us was fine before the pandemic because everyone could go anywhere, and but it was something that we didn't need before. But when the pandemic started, I think a lot of companies, they were pushed to go ahead with their projects to make a little bit free of the needing of having presential people to use their products. I think this was a good thing to remove the company from their comfort zone.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I want to move on to right now the next topic that's really important. If one of you can take maybe 2 to 3 minutes to kind of give advice, if you go back in time to when you were looking forward to building your career, knowing now you're going to start applying for jobs, what is the advice that is so useful today after you've built experience for the past few years working in the industry that you would give to the students, be it technologies you think they need to make sure that they are master, that they're good at, that they expose themselves to. It could be hard skills, soft skills. What are the things you would go ahead and you would tell them? Here's what I really advise you to do if you want to work and succeed in IT. Abdul?
There's just so much that you can that I could have told my younger self. There's so many issues that we felt like we had when we were graduating. We were scared. Are we gonna get interviews? Are we gonna get the attention of people of companies that want to hire us? This started even at the internship level, let alone graduating and finding a job. And at that time, when you're graduating and you're finally going to step into the career that you've been working towards, it gets scary. It almost gets like, this is the scariest thing, this is the most difficult thing I'm going to do. How am I going to find a job? My advice is three parts, if you can hang on to me for that. One thing is just stay confident, keep going. There was this one very nice speaker that you brought in to speak with us once in class, and I can't remember her name, but she was a professional in the industry, and she had graduated from LaSalle too.
I think it was Carolina Basega. She's
That's
an
exactly what it was.
AI expert. Yes.
That's right. And I remember her telling us that she had sent so many resumes out and so many CVs out to so many companies that she lost track of how many people she's actually reached out to. And she eventually was able to get an interview, eventually got it. So when people send out 5 or 6 resumes and then they start getting disheartened, that's just the first baby step. So stay motivated, stay driven. And the second biggest piece of advice I would give is you really don't know what you're going to come up against. When I was graduating, I didn't know there was a COVID-19 pandemic in a couple of years to come. So I had no idea what kind of challenges we were about to face. Like we said, mental challenges, work challenges, and then physical challenges, all these kind of things that came with the pandemic. So no matter what, keep taking steps forward in your career. Sure that you are going to combat anything that comes your way. Even if it's something unexpected, there are going to be lots of issues that you can see coming from a distance, but there'll be some that'll hit you like March 2020 hit all of us. So that's the thing. And finally, the last thing I would say is a piece of advice that I heard once from an athlete. And I heard this person say this, and it stuck with me for all my life. And the simple thing that he said was people like to say that failure is not an option. That when you go to get what you want, failure is not an option. You can only succeed. Go do it. The truth is that's not true. Failure is actually a very easy option. It's actually a very readily accessible option. At any point that you feel any hardship coming to you, if you feel any rejection from a job offer or you can't figure something out at work, it is very easy to just put down your thing and just walk away and quit. And that it would be a failure. All you have to do is remember, keep stepping forward, keep trying, and you're gonna get what you're working for. The success comes only if you keep going and don't take that easy path to the exit ramp.
That's
what
very
I'd say.
true. That's really good. I was watching a movie where someone said, if you don't aim for something, then you will get nothing. So it's really as easy as that. You want to step away, like you said, you can step away. It's always a choice. It's always an option on the table. It's just you need to see if that works for you, then good. Maybe it is what you want. It's just you need to aim for what's going to help you be a better person, career-wise, at a personal level, in all aspects of life. Thank you for sharing that, Abdul. Razieh?
I totally agree with what Abdul said. Very good point he mentioned. The other one small thing that I see and I want to say is that when students have for example, a small project or a big project, doesn't matter. Just try to do the best. I mean, it really affects in their lives. They don't say, okay, it's just a calculator, for example. Always try to do the best that you can. I mean, because always we can improve the code. And I think this attitude, it helps to the programmer's life. And I can say all of us, I mean, it's my mind that it's like a brand, you know. For example, me as a Razieh is a brand that whenever anybody hear my name, they imagine something. They said, okay, Razieh is in her attitudes is like that. So I try to make a good brand of us for our life. And yeah, that's it.
That's a very good point, Razieh. Thank you for saying that. And again, because we're talking about the advice to the students, I jump in often. I tell the students that the way you behave even today in the classroom with your colleagues is what's going to leave an impact that later on when they're working in the industry and they're told, do you have a referral? Do you know somebody? They're going to remember your attitude, your personality, how you dealt with others, how you dealt with a project, how you dealt with a task. And then they're going to say, no way, I'm going to hire or I'm going to recommend this person, versus they might recommend some of you who might not be the best in coding necessarily, or in network administration or setup, or in game development. They're going to remember the best people who are perseverant, who are empathetic, who are helpful, who are good listeners. So the personality, the character is very important. Like you said, Abdul, there's nothing in the world that's going to prepare you. There's no textbook or a course that says here's how you're going to improve as a developer in case there's a pandemic. You don't learn that. It's your personality. It's your mental well-being. It's the way you treat hardships as they come at you. Your attitude is that what gets you through it, not your technical skills. And that's what people forget a lot of times, is the laziness, the lack of appreciation, commitment, is what sticks with people more than anything else. So thank you for mentioning that. Renan?
Yes. My advice for the students is don't be afraid about the market. When you go to an interview or when you start a new job, don't really be afraid, because I think when we are students, and we see one experienced person, a professional, we think that like when they finish the course, they already had that experience, and it's not true. The experience, it's made
built.
by it's built out for a big journey of work, and it's just don't be afraid. Start, be humble, ask questions every time. Don't do the possible, do your best, and show for the company that you always there to help. You always willing to learn more and to contribute with the team. You need to have a team spirit, because this is what the companies they look for. I think you don't need to show. Even, for example, you have you want to find a job in a technology that you are not completely experienced. try to show them that you are good in other technologies, because technology is only about syntax. What the logic matter. If you have the logic for one specific language, you can learn the other language very easily. So show them that you understand the flow of an entire application. Show them that you can do your best, and for sure, like you'll be right for the market, because everything that I learned in LaSalle College, even when we have class that's not related with technical language, I can tell you 100% sure that it's very important. This is going to help you a lot also when you go to the market, because all those project management, all those course that's related with how to talk with people and how to be integrated to a job environment, this also matter. It's not only technical, it's about person, it's about personality, it's about mindset, and I'm sure that you'll be right for the market, because everything that I learned in LaSalle College, I used in the market right now.
Thank you, Renan. And Livia?
Once my boss told me this advice, and it stuck to my head, because every day that goes by, I find it more true, which is, don't worry if you don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. The most important thing is to know that certain things exist. For example, if you don't know exactly what that X technology is, but you know that that exists, and you know more or less the purpose of it. So one day, if you face a problem and you don't know the answer, but you remember that that exists and that that might be your answer, then you go study and find out if this applies to what you need right now. So this is the main idea. Don't worry if you don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. You're
Yes,
never going to know everything.
absolutely. Good
You're
advice.
going, yeah, you're going to always, the most important is keep studying, keep reading, keep knowing what new technologies are coming and what is the main use of it, where you can apply it. So if in the future you know, if you need, you know where to look. And also Google is your best friend, because Google is the tool that you use
All the time.
to find the answers. It doesn't matter if you're junior or if you're senior, you're going to keep using Google every day in your life.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Livia.
that's
And
very true.
Lias,
That's very true.
as long as you make sure that you don't go just to any answer, you're really
Yes,
reading through the answers and going for the relevant, authentic answers. But
because
yes, of course.
we think that the senior developers, they just close their eyes and just start to
Yeah,
type,
they're
and that's it.
Yoda.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
But it's
very good at Googling. That's the
yeah,
thing. They're
exactly.
very good. They know how to put the questions there.
Exactly.
See,
How to use for loop in Python
you know,
every day.
I'm sure this was your perception too in the past, that when you, because that's why it's coming up a lot today, is that you think that it's intimidating to see someone confident talking about their job, that they know it all, but we forget the journey. We see the end result, but it's the journey that got them there to be that confident and to have learned so much to share. Lias?
Oh, no, I was mute. Tradition. Actually, yes, it's actually it's one of it's very important to be confident and to have commitment. Actually, in the job, the business likes to have like people who are committed to do what they are saying to do. I mean, if you are committed, people will trust you and can count of you. That's a very important thing in my point of view. So, and they can trust you and they can give you more responsibility. That's how you can grow even in companies. And yes, so that's a very important thing. And You have also to leave your comfort zone. I mean, if you know a technology, you have to discover more and to challenge yourself. If you are feeling yourself like you know everything, I have to leave and look for new challenges, because that's a very I mean, if you are comfortable, that's mean you're in a bad way. You're not in a good way.
You're not evolving anymore.
No, yeah,
Maybe it's
exactly.
okay to get to a comfort level for some time and really relax in it and feel happy and proud, but don't stay
Yes,
there for too long. I
exactly.
agree with you.
Exactly. You can be like you will feel yourself like you're confident with yourself,
Yes.
and you know everything, but it's good. So to be uh, so you're confident with yourself, but you have to leave that, because you won't be learning anymore. You will be stuck with that environment, and you can progress.
Thank you for sharing that. You all mentioned really amazing advice. I just want one last thing from you. If you can quickly just give us one hobby that you have that keeps you sane or keeps you true to yourself away from IT. It could be related to IT. Sometimes I ask that question and they tell me playing video games, so they can never leave IT. But what is something that you do to kind of make you step away from the stress of working
Actually,
with computers?
I started to learn to take some course in music. That's something.
You got to talk to Abdul. Abdul
Uh,
plays the guitar.
yeah, I play the oud. Actually,
Really?
yes.
Oh, that's really nice. I love the sound of oud. Okay, and how far did you get so far? You're able to play.
Yes, I'm still a beginner, but
Okay,
trying to. It's not easy. It's not something that you will master in like 1 or 2 years.
okay.
So I know I'm aware that it will take too much time, but you have to
Committed.
commit. That's you have to
Commit.
commit. Yeah.
Thank you, Lyes. Who wants to jump in? Go ahead, Abdul.
I wanted to definitely jump in now because what Leah said about it won't it's more than just you can't be an expert in 2 years with some musical thing. Actually, when learning guitar and other musical instruments, that I felt taught me more about myself than almost anything else, because it's so difficult to find the motivation to learn something new, and musical instrument. I tell people that no one is born with the fingers to play guitar or the mind to listen to music and stuff. Some people are, but they're savants. But um I'm just saying, like, when you really put your mind into something and learning something, getting that satisfaction from it, it's very similar between music and learning a new programming language, in my mind at least. And it's very fun. But for my own hobby, uh, I do play video games, but I thought to myself, I need a way to keep my social life moving and stuff. So I decided to become a Twitch streamer, which that just means I just stream myself playing video games. And I
Ah,
started doing this just because a couple of my friends wanted to say, "Oh, I want to watch you play this level in a video game." And I did that, but then I started enjoying it. I got a camera, I got this mic, and now I only have like a few people who see me play, but it's
you
fun.
should share with us your channel so we can follow you, depending on what you
Oh my
play.
oh my goodness. I'll think about
Okay, all
that.
right.
No, I'll share that. But yeah, so I just wanted to feed that social part of me, to be able to speak
Mhm.
to meet new people, to talk to them, and just joke and chit chat and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Renan?
Yes, I think my hobby is I really like to go to the gym. So when I have free time, I always go there. So thanks God, the pandemic is almost done and the gyms are opened again. And
I
yeah,
remember I ran into Renan once in the metro. It was freezing temperature outside and he was in shorts.
oh
He
yeah,
was in shorts and a t-shirt with his big gym bag. I'm like, what?
yeah, yeah. I was at that time I was living in front of the metro, so I really hate a lot of clothes to go to the gym, and I need to spend 10 minutes to take it off. And so
Yes.
yeah, so I think there's something that I really like to do. And now I have
Exercise.
a good job. That's my daughter. She's growing up.
You can
and
lift
start,
her.
yeah.
You build those.
I still can lift her. Like maybe in 1 year I cannot anymore, but
Oh no, you will be able to for a long time still. For a
and
long time.
yeah, so now she's getting smarter and start to talk, and it's very good. It's a good hobby to teach her some new stuff. And
absolutely, absolutely, that's good. God bless.
And
Renan.
I was like learn new technologies, as Livia said, at least to have an idea. I really like it to play a little bit with new technology. It's so amazing. I take like some space in my weekends to do it.
That's very good. That's nice. Livia, then what do you do outside of your job?
Well, since my baby was born, I haven't had a lot of time.
That's your hobby. That's
yeah,
a mom's
that's my
answer.
New hobby. Yeah. But every time I can, my hobby, okay, is way less meaningful than yours. But I do like to watch TV. I watch when I have some free time, I watch Netflix. And
you're allowed.
I love that.
You're entitled.
I love watching movies, TV shows with popcorn and some chocolate after.
Oh, and amazing! Any shows you want to advise us to see? Any good thing you watched lately?
I haven't watched a lot of things lately.
Okay.
I do. Well, my baby still wakes up a lot at night, so when I have time, I try to sleep.
Yes,
actually.
I remember those days. It shall pass.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I like to do.
Absolutely. You are entitled and you should enjoy it to the max whenever you have an opportunity. And Razieh?
Yeah, my hobby was playing guitar before I have baby.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, by playing guitar, but nowadays I cannot because of my son.
You play with your son?
Yeah, I play with my son, and if I have time, I try to do that every day, just running and walking after work.
Amazing. Good. Yeah. Good job. I think that I kept you. It's just such a pleasure talking with all of you and hearing from you. And I think that it's never enough for us to talk. Any closing remarks, like one last advice you want to give, maybe 30 seconds each, and that will be our closing.
Yeah, I just would like to say thank you again and tell the students trust in yourself every time, because this is the most important thing. And go ahead, and of course we are always together, and we can help each other, and that's the best feeling, that when you have people close to you. And that's it.
Thank you, Renan. So community, confidence. Lyes, you mentioned earlier commitment.
Yes, commitment. I think students there are very lucky to have you as teacher. All the teachers. I remember I want to meet every teacher, like all my teachers, but with
we'll try to do a gathering for sure, on either online or whenever possible in person. I think everybody's looking forward to that. We miss you too as well. Thank you, Lyes. Livia?
Well, I think just don't lose hope. If in life and at your professional life too, because even when things are not great, you are able to find the light in the end of the tunnel. We are getting there.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. We can get better. We can always get better.
Hope and patience. Razieh?
Just in hard time that I can say the students have, just think about that. I can do it. I can do it. And it really helps. It really helps to me in difficult time that I had. I said to myself, I can do it, and I believe I can do that. And it passed, and I did that.
So self-empowerment and even self-love and encouragement, that's very important. Thank you, Abdul.
You know, two things really stand out to me from this conversation that we had. One is Livia's boss giving her that fantastic advice that, you know, you can't know everything. I remember that was something that I really struggled with. I wanted to know everything, but more importantly, I expected everybody to think that I knew everything. But that's not the case. You just need to know how to know what you have and know what you can learn and be willing to learn in the future. And secondly, it's just I'm just so happy to be able to see all of you guys again. Miss again, what Lyes said, that that people are so lucky to have you as a mentor, as a teacher. I can say from firsthand experience that that is absolutely true. And I always think about you when something big happens in my life professionally. So thank you very much for inviting us. And we appreciate you, and I appreciate all my teachers. Razieh, I miss you too, but and all of you. So thank you very
Abdul.
much for this.
Thank you, Abdul. And
Abdul,
you see,
I
it's
agree
returned.
100% with you. Sorry, miss.
Me too.
But I can't. Yeah, I can't let this opportunity go by and not say that thank you, miss, for everything. You're an inspiration to us all.
Thank you.
Think about you often.
Me too. Me too. The proof of always staying in touch with you and inviting you and wanting to find excuses through panels and conferences to see you is living proof that you have also left a big inspiration and influence in my life. It's both ways. We all should be open to learn from one another. You have helped me, all of you, also with what I know and becoming a better person. So thanks to all of you. You are always a part of my life. And you know, we are one big family that just keeps on growing. And I am happy for you to know that I am there. And I want you to always keep that in mind as well. Thank you so much for saying that, Abdul, Livia, Lyes, Renan, and Razieh. I love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving out of your precious time to come and share those experiences with everybody. It's really an honor for us to have you always. You know, the door's always open. And even if you ever think of any topic you want to share with us, with the students, with the industry, know that we would be a great pleasure to have you. So thank you. And and God bless you all. Take good care and the best.
Thank you
all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.